Today we're going to snitch about the murder of 27-year-old Los Angeles County Sheriff's Deputy Juan Abel Escalante. We're going to go back to August 2nd of 2008. At the time, 27-year-old Sheriff's Deputy Juan Abel Escalante was getting ready to go to work at the Los Angeles County Men's Central Jail. He worked in a high-power unit. Basically, high-power unit is where most of the gang members originating around Los Angeles County go when they're locked up. They tried to segregate them away from the quote-unquote regular jail inmates, but I've been to LA County Jail plenty of times. There's still plenty of gang members in the area. This unit would be more for the hardened gang members that are in there for serious crimes. So on that very early morning, August 2nd, 2008, he's walking out the side of his parents' home in Cypress Park over on Aragon Avenue, when out of nowhere, a bunch of gunfire erupts. Pop, 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 pop. He falls down. A neighbor hears the gunshots and calls 911. By the time the police arrived and they took him to the hospital, he was pronounced dead. So now you have somebody that shot and killed a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy. So now there's a manhunt going on for who's responsible for the murder. Now, this murder went unsolved for about maybe 5 months until the middle of December of that same year, when 3 members of the very notorious Avenues gang were arrested and charged with his murder. It was Carlos Stoney Velasquez, he was 24, Guillermo Hernandez, 20, Jose Little Psycho Renteria, I believe he was 18. And there was a 4th member that was later on arrested. He fled to Mexico, Armando Albaron. So if you guys don't know, Avenues is a very well-known gang. They are based in the northeast part of Los Angeles, and they call themselves the Avenues because their neighborhood consists of, the number of avenues, like Avenue 43, Avenue 44, whatever. And there's a lot of dead ends in that neighborhood. You go driving around that neighborhood, it's a good chance you're gonna wind up at a dead end, and it's not gonna be good for you. So you should always be careful if you're in that area. And the FBI has arrested lots of those gang members over the years. I don't know how many people are actually in that gang, but they're quite deep and they're quite well known. So these guys were arrested and they were charged with Deputy Escalante's murder. So now you're going to ask yourself, why would 4 gangbangers shoot and kill a sheriff's deputy? Now, everyone at first probably thought that, they had a beef to pick with him because they were probably, one of them was locked up in jail and had a run-in with him and he treated him badly. Now, let me just say this. I've been to Los Angeles County Jail plenty of times. Those deputies are, let's just say they're all pretty much a-holes. If you go to LA County Jail, all those deputies, they all act the same. They're all trying to bust your heads in, and they don't play. They're very militant. They're very militarized. They even have their own little gangs that roll around within the sheriff's deputies, but that'll be a story for another time. So after interrogation and after, questioning them, come to find out the reason why Deputy Escalante was killed was because it was just a case of mistaken identity. The shooter, who was, I believe the shooter was Carlos Velasquez, he's the one that pulled the trigger. He thought that the deputy, who at the time was leaving his parents' home, that's where he lived, I believe, he wasn't in uniform, he was in regular clothes, and he mistook him for a member of a rival gang called Cypress Park. That's all it was. It was just a case of mistaken identity. Now, eventually, all 4 were convicted of the murder. The shooter, he ended up getting life in prison. And then the other 3 guys, They all received 25 years in prison. Now, this happened quite some time ago, so I imagine they're all still locked away, and I believe they're all up in the federal prison right now. So, yeah, very, very dangerous gang. If you're ever in the area, man, be careful, man. Those guys will hit you up, and yeah, I got more stories coming out about them. All right, I'm out.